monetized, so it's all good to me, my friend.
No
Let
worries.
me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. F5. Refresh my page so I can see the comments. And it's not live yet. What the fudge? Or are we live? No, it says I'm live. So hold on. Let me go back to my channel real quick. There we go. Now I'm live. All right. Click that. And we got 4 people watching with Lance's creepy reading. Let's do this. Welcome to the Body Count Podcast, the podcast where we sit back and we discuss our favorite horror movies. I am We Shouldn't Be Here, and joining with me is the very special, awesome Lance's creepy reading. How are you, buddy?
I'm doing pretty well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. I'm very happy to have you on my channel, on this podcast. We've worked
Hey,
together a few times.
if I recall, actually, I was actually the first person you collabed with.
I think you are one of, yeah, definitely. I think you are.
Yeah,
And
as
there
you
was
said,
a
we've worked together a lot of times.
It was gas station stories, right?
I believe so.
Yeah, I believe so. I really liked how that turned out. So I knew I wanted you on this podcast because you have like one of my favorite voices out of all the narrators I've ever heard. So I'm happy to have you on here, man.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm a
no problem.
creepypasta guy, in case you didn't know.
He is a creepypasta gent with a
Lance is the
sword.
name. Creepypasta narrations are my game.
But the movie we're going to talk about is Lights Out tonight. And before we get into that, I like to ask my guests what their favorite scary movie is. So Lance, what is your favorite scary movie? Where are you at? Can't hear you.
Oh, sorry, I accidentally muted myself.
Oh. What's your favorite scary movie, dude?
That's a hard one because I honestly don't know. I mean, there's a lot of great scary movies out there, but I guess maybe if I had to choose, I would probably say something like this is going to sound like a little cliche, but Halloween.
The original from 1978.
The original
The
one, not
remake.
the Rob Zombie remake.
Okay, what do you like about it?
Well, I liked how well, for one thing, it had a really small budget when it first came out. It was a hold on.
Yeah,
Something's going on with my audio. Give me a second. I gotta mute myself for a second.
Yeah. Everybody in the chat, how's it going? Just want to say hi to everybody. I know that every time we do a podcast episode, it's not like a regular live stream where I can sit here and talk to everybody. Sorry about that. I apologize because we have to stay focused on the movie.
Okay, sorry about that.
It's all good. But I'm just saying to my chat members in here, I'm happy you guys are here. Hope you enjoyed this episode. So your favorite movies, favorite scary movie is probably Halloween from 1978. So
that's right, man.
Because of the small budget.
Well, not only that, but I also thought the pacing was really well done, and how it gave so much mystery to Michael Myers. And if I'm not mistaken, you actually don't find out what his full name is until like very later into the movie, like when you see Judith Myers' gravestone during that one scene. Which, speaking of the finale, like, I'll be honest, it does get a little boring at times when you're waiting for stuff to happen. Like, you know, it's a slasher film, right? And you're just waiting for the kills to happen. You're like, oh, come on, let's see some action. Let's see some kills. Let's see some bloodshed, man. And you do, but it happens like during the final act, which sometimes it felt like it was like really slow. Like it was slowly starting to get there, you know?
Yeah, I understand. And that's sadly one of the reasons why when people say their favorite movies from the 70s and 80s are their favorite, I'm like, I kind of get it. But, you know, what the problem is that it's kind of boring. Those old movies are boring, and the new movies are just over the top, no story, no acting. It's just what kind of jump scares can we give you? So you got to find that healthy medium that makes a really good horror movie, which I find actually in this movie, Lights Out. I thought it was really well done. So are you ready to get into this movie?
There is one more horror movie I actually want to mention.
Oh, okay. I want to hear it.
This is a horror film. I actually brought this up to you like a few times. Do you remember the movie Boogeyman from 2005?
I do.
Yeah. I'll admit, as a movie, it wasn't good. But honestly, what I think, if I could describe the movie in a few words, it would be missed opportunity. Because I think a movie created about the boogeyman, the monster in our closet that haunted us as children, like, that's a good concept. I think it can work as a movie. And for the most part, there was a lot of interesting stuff that was in the 2005 Boogeyman film. Like for example, how the boogeyman gets around is basically like a parallel dimension. Like he can like teleport between closets and beds and whatnot. That's a cool idea. I like that. And also, I think the main actor in that movie is pretty underrated. His name is Barry Watson,
Hmm.
by the way. He's a really good actor, and he hasn't really been in a whole lot, which that's a shame. I think he's actually most famous for playing a character in the show Seventh Heaven, which I haven't seen at all, but I
Yeah,
heard it was a good show.
yeah. And did you hear about the dad of Seventh Heaven though?
The no, I haven't actually. No.
I guess he was like a child predator.
Oh dear God.
Yeah, come to find out all these years later.
Oh
Well, cool.
man.
I'm glad you shared with me those two movies, so now people can get an idea of the types of movies you enjoy.
Yeah.
So let's get into Lights Out. This movie was directed by David Sandberg. It stars Teresa Palmer, Gabriel Bateman, Alexander DePiercia, Billy Burke, and Maria Bello. It was released on June 8th, 2016. It has a runtime of 81 minutes with a very small budget of $4.9 million. And in the box office, it made 148.9 million. So that definitely worked out for them. They made a very good profit off that movie.
They made bank.
Oh, they sure did. That's a really good thing. So the plot of Lights Out is Rebecca must unlock the terror behind her little brother's experiences that once tested her sanity, bringing her face to face with a supernatural spirit attached to their mother. This movie was good, man. What are your initial thoughts on it? When you first saw it, did you like it? Did you think it was okay? Did you not like it?
Well, I'll start off with this. Initially, I thought it was okay, and I saw this in theaters when it first came out.
Me too.
Um, yeah, it was a fun time.
Oh,
I felt like it was too cliche when I first saw it. It was just a typical haunted house scenario,
yeah.
right? With a few jump scares, which there are some in there. And I initially thought that that was just a lazy way of creating genuine horror.
Mhm.
And after seeing the movie, yeah, I thought it was cliche. There was a lot of cliche elements to it, like characters doing stupid decisions, um, a bunch of go dark moments, and whoa, a jump scare, that kind of thing. There's
Yeah.
just a lot. It was full of cliches when I first saw it, but as time went on, I decided I well, my feelings towards it just became less and less, I guess cynical, you could call it.
Okay.
Yeah, I found myself liking it a lot more as the years went by, and kept seeing it. I saw it like two more times after that, and my feelings towards it will change dramatically. I find myself actually loving it because I felt like, yeah, there were some cliches in there, but I felt like all those cliches were done well, right?
Yeah.
Like the jump scares, for example, I thought those were done really well. I like how they like build up to the jump scares, you know? Like for example, they'd
Yeah.
show like a glimpse of the creature, ghost entity or whatever, like for a brief moment. Because when you look at her appearance wise, you're all like, yeah, that's really intimidating. Yeah, that could possibly kill him in like a split second.
Yeah.
And lo and behold, it does happen, like in the beginning, for example.
Yeah. I didn't expect that opening. That was a very
I
interesting
kind of
opening.
had a huge feeling that that was going to happen, and like that one scene where the assistant is like flicking the lights on and off, and she sees the silhouette of what is her name, Diana, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, Diana. It's like you know there's a jump scare coming, but I like how it like holds on the fact that you know it's coming, you just don't know when it's going to come.
Oh, that's exactly why I do enjoy those movies, Paranormal Activities.
Yeah.
Even though those are like horribly acted, they're super cheap and super dumb. I just love whenever they have, night one or night two or something because you know something's going to happen, but where, how, and what is going to happen. And I like the anxiety of like not knowing. Like, those scenes in movies where somebody's brushing their teeth or whatever, and then they open the sink thing or, the cabinet above the sink, and then they shut it and something's behind them, just that stupid
Yeah.
cliche. I'm so tired of that. So that's what I thought this movie did well at, was sometimes it would make your mind think you were going to see something in a certain area and then it didn't. You know what I mean? Then it
Yeah.
came from a different area, and I really like that. So let me ask you a question about this. Who was your favorite character in this movie?
Hmm. If I had to guess, I'd probably say maybe I like the boyfriend. What is his name? Scott, I think.
I don't remember his name, but I liked him too.
Yeah, I thought it was really cool, really he was really funny at times too, like what the whole sock scenario thing. Like
Oh
it
yeah,
it was initially weird at first, but as time went on, I just found myself actually laughing at it.
yeah. It was cool. I liked
It's
him. I
so
like.
weird, yeah.
Yeah. Why was he your favorite? Because he some comedic relief or what?
Well, a little bit, yeah. I thought he was a pretty awesome guy. I liked the guy who was portraying him. I liked how he was portrayed in the movie. He was very caring, very brave too. Yeah, brave too. Like when he encounters Diana and she's attacking him, he's doing everything he can to make sure she can't kill him. And I like how you initially think that when he gets in his car and just leaves, you just think like he like bolts and just doesn't come back after that.
Yeah.
Like I remember some people in the audience, they were saying things like, "I can't believe he just left her there," when in fact he actually went and got the police. Which really, when you think about it, what the hell can the police do against Diana?
Well, nothing.
Oh
But
yeah,
like,
pretty much. Unless you have the black light, which the girl actually tried to. I forgot the character's name, by the way. The girl tries to let them take the black light so they can find her, but nope, they don't, and they are killed off and disposed of.
yeah, I think if I had to guess my favorite character, it would be a mix between the boyfriend, like you,
Yeah,
or the little kid brother.
yeah,
I
little
really like
kid.
that kid, and I think a lot of what this movie has in favor for me, why I enjoy it so much, is because I'm gonna have to disagree a little bit with you. How earlier you kind of said like they did the cliche stupid things, making stupid moves, but in my opinion, I think this movie is good because it didn't make stupid moves. I think every move that they made was pretty smart because in most movies you would have the older sister not believe the kid, and you would have the kid know that something is terrifying in his house and he would just stay there and be, attacked by it or scared to the death about it and not do anything, or no one believes the kid. Or you'd have the boyfriend that's like, this is ridiculous or something. But like, I just feel like everything was handled kind of how it would be handled in real life. Like when the kid first kind of got like terrorized by this Diana figure, he like straight up just dipped and he like ran to his older sister and he told her about it, and she wasn't like, you're just, you're dreaming or something. Like she completely listened to him. And then when they're getting attacked at the end of the movie, um even the boyfriend, before he drives away, he's like running to his car and he gets attacked by Diana in the shadows, and she like lifts him above her head. You remember that?
Yeah, and then he
And
turns on
like
his car
he turns
headlights.
on his car headlights. That's a freaking genius move, dude. Like, what are you gonna do? I just think that was
Yeah,
so smart and good writing for that to happen. And he ends up getting away. And before like the third act happens, they like duct tape all the lights, all the light switches up so nobody can turn them off.
yeah.
I don't know. I really think that things in this movie were good. Were very well thought out as opposed to every other horror movie where you're like, what are you doing? Like, get out of that house, and they don't.
Yeah. When I said the characters make stupid decisions, only two of them are currently coming to my mind. If you want to hear them,
Yeah, I do.
yeah, that one scene where the boyfriend and the girlfriend are exploring her childhood home, and she's walking around, and she walks into her dark bedroom, right?
Uh-huh.
And she's reminiscing about all the stuff that was in there, right?
Yeah.
Well, I initially thought this was stupid because, well, you're going into a pitch black bedroom where you do have memories of a weird entity being in that bedroom with you.
Right.
And you just have a feeling in the back of your head like you shouldn't go in there, especially when it's dark and you just know something is going to happen. Like you could possibly be attacked. Like that little thing you were quote unquote imagining as a kid could possibly actually exist and be in there. That it's like it's one of those don't go in there type scenarios.
Yeah.
It's like, no, don't go in there. You could be attacked or and whatever.
Do you think maybe, even though from the outside point of view, watching the movie, we're like, you're so dumb. Why would you do that? But do you think at all that she needed to go in there for confirmation that this was actually happening again?
I guess when you look at it like that, I guess maybe, yeah.
Like, if you were in her shoes, something happened to you when you were a child, and now your kid brother is telling you the same thing is happening to him. Could you really just be like, okay, we'll just stay out of there and we're going to ignore this? Or do you kind of feel like if this was you, you kind of have to know because this happened to you?
Well, for
What do
one
you
thing,
think?
I would kind of bring a flashlight with me just in case. But
Keep it
I
ready.
guess given the circumstances, I would do that, but only if I had a light with me. Like that's the one thing I would make sure I would have with me, a light,
Dude,
no matter what. And
that was
and
funny.
this is coming from a guy who growing up actually was afraid of the dark.
I'm still afraid of the dark.
Really?
Yeah. Did you
Like
ever see the movie? I think it was from 2005. I'm not sure. It's called Darkness Falls.
yes. Oh, I actually want to bring this up real quick. A lot of
Okay.
people from Darkness Falls. Oh, sorry. What am I saying? Yeah. People kept saying when the movie first came out, Lights Out, that it was such an original idea, like having the enemy basically be sensitive to light, have light be the weakness. Like it was a good idea. But in fact, it's not original, not by any stretch of the word. It's just another rendition of it. And the
Yeah.
first movie I saw do that was Darkness Falls, where the main villain, the Tooth Fairy, yes, don't laugh at that, was extremely sensitive to light. So no, this kind of plot has been done before. So it's
Yeah.
not original. It's like when people
Yeah.
say the Inside Out is original, but it's not.
I think in this day and age, you can't really find much that's original. Everything's kind of a different version of everything nowadays. But
Yeah,
I do think that they definitely had some original aspects in this movie when it came to
right,
like
right.
the jump scares and stuff and the
It's like
story
you
behind
you
it.
can't like rehash something nowadays. Well, you can rehash something nowadays, but just because you rehash something doesn't mean that you can't refine it.
Yeah, and make
Yeah,
it
refine it.
better
Yeah,
for your own version.
like a lot of people say that, for example, Toy Story 3 is a rehash of the second movie. Well, I kind of disagree on that. I can understand why people would think that. Like Your Movie Sucks did a whole video about that. But yeah, I kind of disagree with him on there. Like, no offense, but I would say all this cliche, or sorry, not sorry, all of the rehashing that was done in Toy Story 3 is more of a refined version of it. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it does make sense, and I partially agree. But I do think Toy Story 3. I don't know why we're talking. We'll after what I'm going to say, let's move back to the movie. But
I mean, to be
Toy
fair, Toy
Story
Story 3 is a lot darker than the other ones. It could be a
Dark,
horror film if you want to put it like that.
yeah, and it does have a different story. You know, it may have similarities for nostalgia, but it definitely has its own thing. But so, anyways, back to Lights Out. So this movie starts off with the dad, and he's kind of Skyping his younger son, and the younger son saying like, "Mom's not doing very well," and he's like, "I know, Mom's just kind of like she's kind of losing it right now, but I'll be home soon." And then, like you said, the receptionist lady like ends up seeing Diana like in a room when she's flicking on and off the lights, and she ends up telling the boss like, "Yo, there's some crazy stuff going on. I'm leaving." And then he ends up seeing what he sees, and he gets attacked and straight up just murdered. And I loved how it started and then it ended, and then you get to meet the sister and then the boyfriend, and they're in their like tattoo hotel room,
They're
whatever.
fans of corn, apparently.
No, they're fans of Avenged Sevenfold, apparently. If you
Oh, right. Eventually. Oh, right. I'm sorry.
Because there was like a fat Avenged Sevenfold Hail to the King poster
I
in
don't know why
every
I
shot.
said. I don't know why I said corn.
I think there might have been a corn poster, but there was definitely
Maybe.
one Avenged Sevenfold poster right in the middle of every shot.
I'm not really a
And
big
then
fan of Avenged Sevenfold's music. I mean, there's only 2 songs with them I've listened to that I like. This is just a quick side note.
yeah.
I like "Hail to the King" and I also like "Dear God."
Oh,
Yeah,
both
those are.
great songs.
Oh yeah, really good songs.
They're my favorite band in the world, so tread lightly, my friend.
Okay, well, I'll have to listen to more of their stuff just to get a full opinion, I guess, because I haven't heard everything they've done.
Oh yeah, they have a lot of stuff out there. But so you get introduced to the characters and stuff, and she's kind of like you can kind of tell that she, because of her past, she's very disconnected to people, and she doesn't necessarily want to get close to anybody. And the boyfriend is, he looks like just like a rocker kind of gothic type of dude, but he has this very cool personality about him where he just wants to be with this girl, like he actually cares about her, and she's the one that's more so pushing him away. So you
Oh
kind of get
yes.
their relationship, and then after some stuff happens with the boy where he realizes his mom is going nuts because Diana is hanging out with his mom again, he dips and he hangs out with his sister. And what do you think about like that whole opening introducing to the characters? Did you like all the characters? Did you not like the mom? What did you think about them?
I did. I initially thought all the mom was kind of nuts at first because at first glance you kind of get that feeling that she is, given all she said that she has medication, right? Like
Yes.
maybe there's something like psychosomatically wrong with her, if that's the best way to put it.
Okay.
Well, no, I probably didn't word that right. I'm sorry.
I
Like
get
there's
it.
something wrong with her in the head. Like she's not all there. Like maybe she's
Right.
schizophrenic, you know?
I would say schizophrenic's probably the closest diagnosis.
Yes, Chris Akin ASMR. I am a creepypasta channel. And
So what do you
yes,
think of
the
the?
short film Lights Out. There's a short film called Lights Out.
Which is
Ironically enough, yeah.
terrifying. It's terrifying.
I haven't seen it actually.
I watched it after I saw Lights Out because I heard that that short film was based off of, or the movie was based off the short film, which I never knew about. And before work one
Kind of like with
morning,
Mama.
yeah, yeah, exactly. It's terrifying. It's only a few minutes long, but it's like really scary, like
This
almost
movie,
scary.
it builds like so much atmosphere, so much suspense. It's like I mentioned before, yeah, you know something is coming, and the build up is really worth it in the end.
Yeah,
And with the atmosphere, like a lot of the movie is just dark. It's just dark from beginning to end, and it's like a breath of fresh air whenever you see morning sunlight or lights in general in the film.
oh
It's like
yeah,
it's like you know they're going to be safe in the end because well, lights give you power.
yeah.
Oh god,
And I
let's
like
see
that.
Diana go up against a lightsaber.
That'd be, yeah, well, if we could find one in real life, that'd be. I don't
Oh,
think
if
anybody
only,
would
man,
go.
I would love one.
Oh, me too, so bad. Or a
Oh yeah.
flamethrower.
No, you want to
Um,
burn the house down.
oh, I'll do it outside in the backyard. Okay,
Well,
so
with the ending of Darkness Falls, where like the Tooth Fairy gets like lit on fire.
oh
I was
yeah,
kind of expecting something like that to happen with Diana in the climax, but no. But I do like how they handled the climax with Diana's demise in the ending.
the demise was amazing, and that's again, I'm gonna reference the fact that I feel like this movie, they did smart, realistic things because I feel like somehow if this was a different movie and you had to get rid of this entity, you would end up involving religion somehow or bringing something in, and you would have some sort of ultimate things flying around the room type, get this paranormal woman out of here, and then she's finally gone, and then you come to find out she's not gone, or she is and it was stupid. But I like that the only way that the mom could actually make her kids safe was to get rid of herself. And she anybody who hasn't seen this, Matthew Bauer, if you're still in here, sorry, she offs herself. And I love it because I think in the same motion, Diana is like lunging towards one of them, and before Diana can reach them, the mom shoots herself in the head, and Diana's gone, and so is the mom. And I just
Yeah,
really like the ending because it wasn't a happy ending. Like in a way, it is, but the mom just died. You know what I mean? And
yeah. I like how
just
they like
love it.
build up to that whole thing. Like when the girl's running up the stairs, I guess to get her mom, and Diana attacks her and throws her down the stairwell, and you see her Diana slowly rise up on her feet with her hand with her long fingernails, like getting ready to attack the girl.
Hmm.
And then the mom just comes in like with a gun and shoots Diana. She's like, "That won't hurt me."
Oh
She's
yeah,
all like, "This will. Without me, there can't be a you." And then she like
right.
runs to the mom, and then bam, she's dead. She's gone, erased from existence.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
love
it
that
was
that's how it
great.
happened.
Yeah, and
It's a
also
good
I like how
ending.
I like how it like teases you at the end, which I had a feeling they were gonna do something like that. Like they were gonna tease you at the end, like saying like, "Oh, what if she's still alive?" Like when they had like the lights in the ambulance just flicker.
Oh, that'd be cool though.
Yeah, I mean, who knows?
I
Maybe if
like
there's ever a sequel, it could be revealed that Diana is secretly now attached to the daughter because of the impact she left on her. Maybe.
uh-huh. Yeah, that'd be rad. Yeah, there's definitely. I want to know if there's going to be a Lights Out 2 in production because I think that'd be
Um,
cool.
you never know. Also, that one scene where the boy tells his mom that the only way to get rid of your fears is to face them, and she actually decides to do that. She like makes the room dark, and the mom tells her son the story about Diana, and then she like appears on the top of the couch where
Oh my
they're
god, that
sitting.
was the best jump scare. That was the best, in my opinion, the best one of the
Yes,
movie.
this movie does jump. It does jump scares like great, good, better, good.
Yeah,
Right,
it
I
does.
should say.
That's what I mean when I'm saying like most movies, like I said, in the mirror, they'll have you open the mirror, shut the mirror, open the mirror, shut the mirror, and now something's behind you. But what I really liked about this one was, especially, I'm glad you brought that scene up because the mom, they have the lights on first of all, and then they're like watching a movie, and then the mom gets up and like starts turning the lights off, and the acting, oh my god, of that little boy when he's just like, mom, like, what are you doing?" And she's like, "No, no, no, honey, it's okay, it's okay, like, Diana wants to hang out with us too." And he's like, "Mom, no," and then she like turns it off, and all of a sudden there's Diana. She's starting to creep up, and then it shows like the mom and the son, then Diana, the mom and the son, Diana, the mom and the son, and then you think it's going to show Diana like even closer, but it doesn't. She's just on top of the couch and she's
Oh yeah,
looking down.
definitely.
Oh my god, dude! I was like, ah, it
Which,
scared
to
me
be
so
fair,
bad.
if that were you in the situation, like let's like flash back to when you were like maybe the kid's age, like maybe what 6, 7, 8, and
I'd
your mom
say he
is
was like 10.
yeah maybe 10, yeah, and your mom is telling you the story about some girl who well wasn't around anymore, and that she was supposedly haunting the house. Like if you were in that boy's shoes, how would you honestly feel?
I would run.
Yeah, I would be pretty terrified too. It's like, Mom, why are you doing this to me? This is gonna scar me for life, you know.
Yeah, and well, so speaking of what I said about the little boy's acting, what did you think of the acting overall in this movie? Because personally, I thought it was really, really good.
It was great, really believable. Like I didn't see one person who didn't overact or underact in any sort of way. Like I thought it was all really believable. Like it was good. What more can I say? It was good. Everyone gave a great performance.
Who do you think had the weakest performance?
That's the hard part. I honestly don't think there is one.
I'm gonna go and I'm gonna say in the beginning, probably like the receptionist lady.
Oh, really?
Well, because if you're sitting there and you turn a light off and you see something, yeah, you're okay. You're gonna be like, "What did I just see?" Then you're gonna flick it back on and it's gone. Then you flick it off and you see it again. I don't think you'd sit there and keep flicking it on and off. I think the first time you see something, you'd be like, "Deuces, I'm out of here," you know?
Yeah, fair enough. I think I think what you mean by that is like the actions of the characters, not more like the performances.
Okay, sure, yeah, I get that. Okay, so the performances when it came to okay, let me rephrase it. This is why live sometimes sucks because I can't edit all this out. But
Yeah.
the acting when it came to the mom, the way she acted like mental, I guess you could say, was really good. I thought that was done well. The sister, I thought she did a pretty good job. Like I thought she was believable, but there were certain times where she had a little too much of a little serious face on her face. I don't know. And then the boyfriend, I thought acted really good. He acted like concerned and scared and happy and realistic. But I do think hands down the boy is the best actor in the movie.
Oh yeah, it's like when I saw Krampus, like remember that one, Krampus?
I never saw that one. Is it good?
It is good, yeah. And the main child star in the film, he like, oh my god, this kid is talented. Like he gave an excellent performance.
Yeah.
Yeah, almost as good as the kid in Lights Out. I don't know if it's the same person. It might not be, but if it is or not, it doesn't matter because well, it was a great performance. And Krampus, yeah, when I initially saw it, it was okay, but it's grown on me as time has gone on. Like a lot of horror films I seem to have that impression with horror films a lot nowadays. Like when I first see it, I'll think it's okay, but as time goes on, I'll gradually start to appreciate it more. It's like just
Uh-huh.
one viewing isn't enough for me.
Yeah. Um, about this movie, when I saw it in theaters with my wife, and we both were like, "This is like one of the scariest movies I've seen like in a very long time." Like, genuinely had me like scared almost the whole movie.
I remember
And
in the theater, some people were there was actually some teenagers in there, like high school people, and
uh-huh.
every time a jump scare came on or a scary moment, I would often hear them scream out loud, and like ah, like okay, we get it scary, but you're kind of taking me out of the immersion.
Yeah, no, that's also the shame about seeing a theater in or seeing a movie in the theater is sometimes people can affect it. Like I recently saw A Quiet Place.
I haven't seen it
And
yet.
oh, it's very good. I would try and see it somehow if you can rent it or something. It's so good. But
Awesome.
I saw it in the theater and it was the best slash the worst scary or the worst slash the best experience I've had in a horror movie because the movie is almost 100% like quiet and they use sign language to communicate with each other. And because it's so quiet, because you can't make noise, because these monster things are sensitive to noise, the entire theater was silent, which you don't get ever in movie theaters. There's always someone who's talking or being noisy or stupid. Everyone in my theater was just pure quiet. And like
Hmm.
no one wanted to make a noise. But the bad thing was is I ate at one of those studio movie grills. Have you heard about those?
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
Where you can actually like buy meals like
Yeah,
it's like a restaurant.
yeah. Do you guys have those where you're from? Cinema Cafe. It's what we call them. We have one of those here, right? Where I'm from.
Uh-uh. The closest thing we would have to that would be
It might
the
be
studio
regional.
movie grill. And yeah, so the only thing that sucked was where our seats were was right next to pretty much like where they bring all the plates and stuff. So there was
Oh
a bunch of
boy.
clinking and clinking in a completely silent movie. So it
Oh
was the
no.
worst experience, but also the best. But also the best because people were all really focused on the movie. So I definitely enjoyed the movie theater for that. Let's talk about Diana herself, the character. What did you think of her backstory? The fact that she was a little girl and she was sensitive to sun, so she had burns all over her all the time. And then they did like tests on her with like electricity, and they ended up killing her.
Yeah, honestly, I felt really bad for Diana. Like initially, like if you're gonna have a skin disease where you basically are really sensitive to light, and like no matter what it is, if it touches you, you're pretty much in great pain.
Uh huh.
And the fact that they later go on to torture her at that same orphanage, or I think it was an orphanage, was it? Or a
Um,
mental hospital, I
it
think.
was a mental hospital.
Mental hospital. There we go. The fact they're going to experiment on this poor girl after everything she went through, like that is just that's scummy and low. And I felt genuine sympathy for her. Like, I mean, yeah, at the end of the day, I thought her killing people was not the right thing to do. Well, obviously, we would all have that same mindset, but you can somewhat understand as to why she's doing it.
Right.
Because, well, she felt like
Well,
no one was ever there for her. She was alone, essentially. Like, as the
well,
mom said, she abandoned her.
you remember she abandoned her because the girl died and then the mom left eventually. But um, do you remember that Diana was like making bad things happen when she was a kid? That's why they did the testing on her.
Oh, I actually forgot about that.
She was
Funny
like
enough, I
whispering.
tried to watch the movie earlier before we started doing this, but I couldn't find any free versions online. I couldn't even rent it either.
Free versions. Oh.
Hey, it's how I watched the first three Insidious films. I just like looked at online versions and just saw some free ones posted on the interwebs, and that's exactly what I did. I watched all three of them.
Nice, very nice. Have you seen number 4?
No, I haven't actually. And
Don't waste
ironically
your time.
enough, I was only seeing those three movies because there was a collab I was doing with hotel rooms. I forgot what his name is. His name was, but I was doing a video where top 5 facts about Insidious. I was told to read out a script, and during this time, I had not seen any of the previous Insidious films, like at all. And so, in preparation for this video, before I even started recording the scripts, I actually just decided to sit down and I watched all 3 films just to get a general idea about what was going on, so I wasn't lost.
Right. That's
And
good.
yeah, this was around the time when Insidious 4 was released.
Yeah, that movie was pretty lame, so I wouldn't even
Oh, that's a
waste my
shame.
time. Yeah, it was pretty dumb. I've
It's the
seen all
last
of them in
one.
the theaters, and that one was a waste of money, definitely. Um, so what did you think of now moving on from Diana being a kid? What did you think of the actual way that they designed the, creature?
Like, I'll be honest, like I honestly liked it. It's a classic horror movie trope to not reveal the monster until like the very end. Well, here they technically do that and they technically don't. I mean, yeah, she's mostly a silhouette for a majority of the film, but you can
Mhm.
still see the black outline and her glowing eyes. I believe their eyes are glowing,
Yeah,
maybe.
and she
Yeah.
has, like, claw fingers.
Yeah, it's basically it's sort of kept a mystery, but it sort of isn't at the same time. It's like they show Diana briefly in a way, but right around right near the end with the black light, which I thought was an excellent idea, by the way. How actually you actually do see what Diana looks like. Like I liked how they built up to that sort of thing. It's like Diana looks scary from her appearance and her actions, and when
Mhm.
you actually see the actual face, you feel well more scared. I mean, it's been said that what you see is less scary than what you don't see, right? You know how
Yeah,
old saying goes?
yeah.
With here, it's like the exact opposite. It's like you don't see Diana's face, and that is scary in itself. But when you do see what Diana actually looks like, you are genuinely terrified. At least I was.
Okay, because I have
Yeah.
to sadly disagree with that. Because I don't think it was a good idea to show her face. Because I got the idea that she was an actual girl. I didn't need to see what she looked like because I wasn't scared by her appearance. Like it obviously that when you see her face, it's in the middle of a jump scare. So obviously it scared me when she just appears and you see her
Yeah.
face, but the actual way she looked didn't really, I don't know, it didn't do much for me. Was I was kind of like, "Oh man, I kind of liked the fact that she didn't look like a woman she just looked like a scary creature. You know what I mean? And
Oh
it kind
yes,
of put a
definitely.
little bit of life into her, and I didn't really care for that. But other than that, like I definitely think Diana's design was really, really out there. Um, I liked her like crazy hair and her glowing eyes. The fact that
Oh
she had
yeah.
glowing eyes was super cool.
And the way they build up to how they showed her face, like you think that the girl is just looking at another mannequin that's like standing in the dark basement, which I mean, if you see a mannequin in a dark basement, that's scary enough on its own. But the mere
Definitely.
fact that it's actually revealed to be Diana with her back turned, like, or maybe her back was turned, I don't really remember. But the mere fact that it's actually Diana herself is just makes it all the more terrifying.
Yeah.
And also that scene where the girl brings like the wind up flashlight. It's like how I said, like they build up the scares in this movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
The same can be applied with the atmospheric parts too. It's like when she winds up the flashlight, you know, at some point, given the history with those kind of flashlights, if you've ever owned one, like I know I have, like, oh, those things are atrocious in my eyes.
Are they? I've never used one.
I have. I hate them so much. It's like you know that it's going to go off at some point. It's going to turn off at the most convenient of times. And it does. And you're expecting a jump scare, but it doesn't happen. Instead, she winds up the light again and starts messing with the circuit breaker for a little too long, in my opinion, because well, the lights went out and obviously what you're doing with the circuit breaker isn't working, so you're spending a little too much time on it, you know? But regardless, I felt it really built up the scares really well, and I don't believe there was a jump scare at that moment.
When
Like
you see her
if I
face?
recall. No. When she goes into the basement to check the circuit breaker when the lights go out at one point.
Oh, I don't
Yeah.
think there was a jump. Well, there was a jump scare, and the jump scare. Well, I wouldn't call it a jump scare as much as a just a scare, I guess. It's she's down there checking it out, and then it's like a quick shot where they zoom up the stairs, and Diana's at the top of the stairs, and she like slams the door shut, so they're locked down there.
Yeah, I was expecting like maybe Diana was just gonna run down the stairs and just try and grab them or something like that. But no, I kind of like the idea of how she just slams the door on them and just like leaves them down there. Like maybe she wants to take care of the people upstairs before she takes care of the kids.
I think her motive behind that wasn't. I think the motive behind the whole movie with her wasn't that she was a murderer that
Right.
wanted to just murder everybody in her path. I think the truth was is that her and the mom were the, BFFs from childhood. And the fact is she didn't want anyone to come in between her friendship with the mom, which is why she kept killing the dads off. Because if you remember, like the dad died previous, and then the little boy's dad died, and that's the guy who died in the beginning.
Ah, yes, exactly.
And so she wanted to kill the parents, and then so she did, and then she didn't want to kill the little boy. She just wanted to keep them out. You know what I mean? That's why when the mom in the beginning is talking to the little boy, and she's like, "Yeah, I'm just talking to my friend," and the guy is like, "What?" The kid is like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "My friend Diana, she's here again," And you see Diana kind of creep out from the background, and
Oh,
she's like,
dude, that was creepy as hell.
"Oh yeah,
It's like
yeah,
imagine
so
what the
good."
mom is going through. Like she's alone in her room 24/7. Well, not really 24/7, but like the entire night with this creepy entity. Like imagine what she must be thinking. Like you have to imagine, like deep down, she must be screaming in terror on the inside because Diana is much more stronger than she is, and she knows this. Like she's afraid that she could do anything at any point in time.
It was kind of an abusive relationship if you think about it, because
Controlling.
very much so on Diana's part. Because the mom, even at one point
Or
where,
is a plane going by? Uh
oh no, but I remember that scene that we talked about where she ends up on the couch looking down on the boy.
oh.
The boy starts to like run away, and the mom is like, "Diana, like leave him alone, please leave him alone," and she like backhands the mom. Do you remember that?
Oh yeah.
And like that was the first time where I was like, "Ooh, like maybe she's worse than I think she is," Like I don't know,
Damn, shit just got real.
straight up. Where is my honey?
Move, bitch, get out the way.
Okay, sorry. But yeah,
Can't
I
touch
just
this.
you did touch this across the face.
Oh yeah, you're about to catch these hands. These clawed, deformed, bony hands.
So I have a I have an issue though with this movie.
Yeah.
I they didn't get I have two issues, I would say. One is they didn't clearly explain what capabilities Diana had. because if we're supposed to believe she's just an actual girl who maybe is just like crazy in the brain, there's a lot of times where they would just be sitting around a light bulb and all of a sudden the light bulb would start to like flicker and
Yeah.
stuff, and then it would just like turn off naturally, and it had nothing to do with flipping a switch on or off. But then when they try to protect themselves, they like keep everything taped up. But it's like, can't she just turn off lights whenever she wants to? Like, I
Yeah.
wasn't clear on that. You know what I mean? Like, what are her capabilities?
Yeah, it's pretty obvious that she's the one turning off the power in the house when everything goes dark.
Yeah. But is she doing it because she's flipping switches? Or
Yeah,
is
it's
she...
like speaking of which, like in the beginning, like when the dad runs into the office, it's like you knew he was going to die at that moment, and you knew the lights were going to go out. So right
Mhm.
then and there, we knew that if he ran in there, he was going to be screwed, essentially. And when I first saw the film, I was like, why doesn't he just like run outside to safety? But then years later, when I watched the film again, I realized that, yeah, it makes sense that he ran into the office first because that's the only light source available. And he wants to make sure he's as safe as he possibly can be. It's
And
like
there's a baseball
your
bat.
first initial thought is to run to the light of safety.
Right. Have you... And he had a baseball bat. Remember that?
Not that it would do anything, but yeah.
Of course not. But again, in my opinion, a smart move. Normally people would just like hide. They would crouch down and be like, I'm so scared. But
It
he
kind of
like
reminds
ran
me
in
of a
there.
this whole movie kind of reminds me of a creepypasta that Creepsic Pasta actually wrote a while back called the Abstergo Man. He actually wrote that story, and it was about an entity that's stalking a resident in uh, at his home, and day after day, he notices this dark silhouette standing out his window, and it's getting closer and closer to his house. But whenever he turns on the lights in his yard, nothing is there. But when it's dark, it's some weird man. And as the
Ooh.
story progresses, eventually the creature who's or thing that's watching him eventually ends up in his house and is gradually getting closer and closer to him. And then one
Wow.
night it appears in his kitchen where he is, and he sees the creature's face for the first time. And in response, he uh, opens up his refrigerator so the light in there can like protect him. And eventually, as time goes on, all the lights in his house just blow, like there's no electricity at all whatsoever. And so he makes a beeline for his room where he has a bunch of emergency flashlights, lamps, and candles. And spoiler, if you haven't heard the story yet, I'm going to give away the ending real quick. That story ends with the main guy saying that he's called out of work. He's living like a prisoner in his room, and he has no idea what to do. And he thinks that all he has to do is just wait and survive the night and try to find a way to get himself out of the situation. But the story ends where he's cut off mid-sentence saying, all I have to do is survive. And it plays like a sound effect of the power going out, implying
Wow.
that all the lights just went out and his last sanctity of hope is just completely diminished. And the Abstergo Man is, well, there.
Wow. That sounds
Which,
cool.
yeah, oddly enough, he actually made a video about that saying, did the director of Lights Out steal my idea from the Abstergo Man?
Oh, really?
It's quite an interesting video because when you look at the story compared to the movie, they are kind of similar in a way.
Yeah. Well, I haven't heard the story, but the way you described it, I definitely can see the connections.
Oh yeah, check it out. It's great.
Yeah, send me a link someday, or tonight or whatever, and I'll check it out for
Yeah,
sure.
I actually want to read the story on my channel so badly, but I've tried reaching out to Creeps and getting permission to read a story because I'm actually going to say this real quick. I'm one of those narrators who feels like it's best to ask permission from the authors before narrating their story and especially monetizing it.
Yeah.
I just don't think it's really fair to monetize someone else's work without their consent. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to be one of those narration channels that just says, oh, it's fair use. Well, no, it's technically not fair use because, well, there are 7 categories of fair use, which I do not remember at the moment. And I don't think narrations really fall under any of those.
Yeah.
Now, if it falls under Creative Commons, like it does in the Creepypasta Wiki, which is where I get all my stories from, that's okay. That's good. But it's still best to at least talk to the author, reach out to him in any sort of way possible to let them know that you plan on doing their story, you know?
Yeah, I understand.
Which I don't know what it's like with Reddit. I mean, do you often ask the authors for permission to read their work?
No comment.
Okay.
If that helps.
I think that sheds some light on the whole thing, but whatever. It's whatever floats your boat, man. And
In my opinion, if you're writing a creepypasta, you're being creative. So I feel like you need to be respectful. but I feel like if someone's just writing a story when they went to McDonald's and some old guy stared at them, there's not much creativity, and
Uh,
I don't need to respect them for writing down a scary incident that happened to them,
right, I
personally.
see what you mean. Right.
I want to get into a little bit of trivia about this movie, just a little bit of fun facts.
Yeah, we just got like
Uh,
completely sidetracked. Well, I
uh,
did for the most part. I just kind of went off on my own little world, and we just forgot about the movie.
Here's a pretty interesting. Ooh, I like this fun fact. So Teresa Palmer, that's the main girl. She hadn't seen the design of Diana before filming until she filmed her first scene with her on a completely dark set. This was
Oh
an
wow.
intentional directorial choice so as to provoke a genuine reaction of fear when first seeing the design. The woman in the costume. So what also is cool is that this wasn't CGI. Like that was an actual actress in a costume.
Oh yes, practical effects.
Yeah, so much better. The woman in the costume was previously the stunt double to Teresa Palmer on a different movie called I Am Number Four back in 2011.
Oh, I love
Uh,
that movie. Yeah, I like
that
that
was
movie.
her stunt double, and it
That's
would have
incredible.
ruined the effect had she seen her prior, as she would have recognized her, therefore losing the authentic expression of fear.
Mm,
I like that fact.
I like that. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Ooh, this is a fun fact from something you said earlier. The mannequins in the basement were not brought in for the movie. They were already placed there by the owner of the house.
Ooh,
Yeah, I like that.
I like the sound of that.
Um, let's see. Let's find another good one. The house that's in this movie is the same one used in Ouija from 2014
Wait,
and Ouija
what?
or Origin of Evil in 2016.
Seriously?
Yes.
Oh, that's incredible. As someone who's seen both the Ouija movies, oh, I almost said Luigi movies. It's like that's pretty incredible. That's great.
Dude, I
Oh,
saw.
sorry.
Sorry.
One thing. Chris Akin actually has a question. So incidents and scary stories are different in creepypasta. Typically, yes, they typically are. Well, more often than not, it's been said that most stories on Reddit are true, right? Right.
Yeah.
I like to think of them as allegedly true
Yeah.
because you don't really know if if it actually happened or not. If it did, then I'm genuinely sorry, but I honestly don't know if they're true or not. With creepypastas, you can tell that they're all fiction, and there's like a multitude of ideas you can use to tell a scary story, right?
Yeah.
With a lot of these Reddit stories, with the exception of no sleep stories, like I feel those are a lot more creative. But with all these let's not meet stories, and I'm probably gonna piss some of you guys off by saying this, I honestly really hate those let's not meet stories. I
Yeah.
don't like them at all because well, I know they're mainstream nowadays, but they're just there's nothing scary about them. There just isn't. They're the same thing every single time. It's
Yeah.
look back to all these horror stories that you find, all these true supposedly scary stories from Reddit. More often than not, they're the exact same scenario. It's just a young woman or a child is being stalked by a creepy guy, or a creepy guy breaks into their house and just either harasses them or maybe tries to rob them, and they get away and they call the police and they either get arrested or they don't get arrested. Or maybe a creepy guy approaches a young girl and he looks creepy and she gets a bad vibe. Like,
And that's it.
yeah, I don't see the scare factor. What is so scary about it? I mean, say what you will about creepypastas, but I feel there's more genuine terror and suspense in those stories than any of these let's not meet stories.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but they're just not scary. And the whole I have no idea what could have happened to me if I didn't do blah 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 blah. No, 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 no. We know what would have happened to you. We can piece it together. We're not dumb. We know. We know.
Yeah.
We get it. We get it. And on top of
The
that,
creepy guy who invited me into his van. I wonder what could have happened.
oh yeah, yeah. I wonder what could have happened if I did this and that. It's like we know.
Yeah. Hey, by
So
the way,
creepy guy,
guys,
let's not meet again.
in a few days, I'm gonna have about a 2 hour long video of let's not meet stories. So I hope you're looking forward to it now.
Oh boy, I can't wait.
Yay. I want to share two more fun facts before we get into what we would rate this movie overall. And This
I
answer.
mean, I like to go off on a tangent like that. It just this is something that's always bugged me like for a long time about those Reddit stories, which is why I absolutely refuse to read those Let's Not Meet stories on my channel. I mean, I'll gladly read them for collaboration, but on my channel, no, I'm sorry, I just can't.
Nah, and that's all good, man. That's what separates your channels from other people's channels too. So,
Yeah.
check this out. So we were like, I wonder if this movie's gonna have a sequel. A sequel to the film was immediately greenlit after the film recouped its budget on its opening weekend alone. So we
Hey,
are getting a Lights Out too.
yeah, boy.
I know that would be cool. And then the last one I want to share is Diana was created with a photorealistic prosthetic suit that could also function as a green screen suit so as to remove her from the scene when the lights came on. The designer of the suit previously created the title character of Mrs. Doubtfire in 1993. So I think it's
Really? What?
really,
Wow.
yeah, I think it's really cool that she was there the whole time. Again, this is like no special effects besides obviously just deleting her out of the scene when the lights were on. And I didn't know that, dude. Honestly, this whole time I thought she was CGI'd. I didn't know that until we just did this, so that's
I mean, to
pretty
be honest,
rad.
I had a feeling that it was all practical when I first saw it, but I had a feeling that there were some hints of CG in Diana's model.
Well, I mean, I just kind of assume everything nowadays is CGI. You know
like
what I mean?
with Rings and Samara, who's all CGI'd.
Yeah, that's
It's like
dumb.
I'll admit, I actually liked Rings. I did,
The new
but
one?
yeah, the new one.
No
But what I
way.
didn't like, what
No way. That movie sucked.
you suck. Okay, no. No, I mean I liked it. It was pretty good after not seeing a Rings film for quite a while, and after the disaster that was Rings 2. But seeing some more CGI'd, no, I can't do that. I just can't. And I'll admit, Rings has a lot of flaws in it. Like the whole stupid thing where it's like revealed that the one guy they met in that town turns out to be Samara's father.
Right. Oh,
Totally didn't see that coming.
spoilers.
Yeah, although I did like the ending with the whole reborn thing. That's actually pretty interesting. It makes you think like it's finally over. Nothing's gonna happen. No more Samara. No more cursed videotapes. No more crawling out of TVs and killing people via what petrification. I think. Who knows?
And then it ends the way it ends, and you're like, great.
I mean,
We can
hey,
have
I'm all for another Rings film. Like, bring it on. I'll take it. I mean, The Grudge is already getting a remake in 2019.
is it?
Yeah, yeah. I'm actually looking forward to that. I mean, first Grudge movie came out when I was like a little kid, and I didn't see it till I was like maybe 13, and it
Yeah,
scared
me
the
too.
hell out of me. Like that bed scene in the film, like where the girl looks under the blanket and the girl is like there and like pulls her into whatever land. It's like that part fucking scared me when I was a kid, man. And even still, I get a little tense when I'm laying in a dark room and I look under my blanket. Like I'll expect to see a pair of eyes looking at me. It's like, oh shit.
Yeah,
With this
dude, that was
remake,
creepy.
I'm really looking forward to it. I really want to see it. Like as an adult, like I can't wait. I honestly can't wait. And for
I
those of
hope
you wondering, yes, I am an adult, even though I sound like I'm a kid. Like I've been told I sound like I'm still a teenager, but yeah,
you got a
I'm
deeper voice than me, my friend.
I'm almost 22.
Holy crap, I'm almost 29.
Oh man,
Yeah. Oh
it's
man.
so weird though. When I first met you, though, I actually thought you were much younger, or maybe the same age as me.
Yeah. Nah, people. I have like a higher voice, which is funny because when I narrate, I don't have that high of a voice. I kind of talk like this when
I
I'm
kind of
narrating.
like alternate. Like I often like to go into a deep voice whenever it's necessary, but more often than not, I try to keep my little. I'm naturally a soft-spoken person, so
Yeah.
I try to like speak very softly or very high at some certain areas whenever I narrate. I just try to figure out what I think best works for me.
Yeah. And then that's the best you should do.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
definitely.
let's get into. We got about 9 minutes left. Nah, about 7 minutes left before I got to wrap it up and get back to being a daddy. So,
But my
so what would you rate this movie? And the way we rate movies here on the Body Count podcast is we rate them from 1 to 10 dead bodies. So if
Hmm.
it's a 1, it's not that bad. If it's 10, it's amazing, and we would consider a perfect 10 a massacre. So 1 to 10 dead bodies. How many dead bodies do you give this movie?
Well, like I said, initially when I first saw it, I didn't think very highly of it, but as time went on, I gradually started to like it more and more. And yes, there are some cliches in there, and honestly, there are some stupid decisions that I think could have been completely avoided.
Hmm.
Like, for example, like when the boy said he wants to sleep with his door closed. Like, I don't know. I have a feeling that I would actually rather have it open so I could get a clean shot of running away from Diana. Because remember, like a locked door isn't going to stop her from getting into your room. Like anything's possible. That's just another moment that I thought could have been fixed on. But anyways, I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic.
Oh, you're good.
Regardless of the bad decisions some of the characters make, I actually liked all of them. I thought they all acted well. I thought their personalities were really good. And yeah, it's not original, but I think what they did right, they absolutely did right. And also,
Yes.
the concept is not original. The whole light being the weakness thing. Quit saying that.
So what would you rate this
Like, watch
again?
Darkness Falls. You understand what I'm talking about? If I had to rate this, I would rate it 8 dead bodies.
8. Okay, so you would give it a B.
Oh yeah, totally.
8 out of 10 B. Okay. I respect that. I will I will be very generous with this film and
Oh,
give
here we
it
go. Here we go.
I would give it a 9.5 dead bodies. So
There
one
it is.
9 full dead people and then some legs. So 9.5 out of 10.
But they all die in
And
the dark.
yeah, exactly. And when you turn the lights on, they're not there anymore.
Oh
So
yeah.
I give it a 9.5 out of 10 because, like I said, it's not completely perfect because there's a few questions I had again with like, so can she turn the lights off by herself? If that's the case, like, why doesn't she just keep them off at all times? You know what I mean? Like, I- and then I
Keep
would
the lights
say,
out. Keep the lights out.
and then I would say that I didn't care much for Diana's backstory. Like I honestly didn't need a backstory. Like I could have heard it without having to spend as much time as they spent on discovering what her backstory was. And the fact that pretty
Right.
much the daughter just went into the room and just like opened up a box and like, oh, right there on the top, there's all of everything you need to know. Like I don't need that exposition. You know what I mean? Like they could have just been like the boyfriend could have been like, "Who's Diana?" And she could have been like, "She was some girl my mom was friends with."
It's
You know what I mean?
still a mystery.
I just think that they could have spent a little less time, and then like how I disagreed a little bit earlier with you about how I don't feel like they should have shown her face, even though I didn't mind it. I just kind of felt like they could have gone without it. But
Right.
other than that, the acting was good. The choices that the characters made when it came down to turning the lights on the car to save himself,
Oh yeah.
the kid wasn't annoying at all. He was very smart and well acted. The sister was cool and hot. And then
Oh yeah, yeah, bar none.
right. And then the mom was really cool. I liked the dad in the beginning. I liked the
I mean, she was
receptionist.
kind of cute.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's nothing about this movie I really, really didn't like. So that's why to me, it's a darn near perfect horror movie. And it's very hard to get a good horror movie in 2018. Well, it's
Oh yeah.
2016 back then.
One quick question though.
Yeah.
What are your Chris actually had a question about this, and I'm going to ask you too.
Yeah.
Uh, what are your thoughts on the Slender Man movie?
Is that out yet?
No, it's not, but
Oh,
it will be
what is it?
eventually.
What is it though?
The Slender Man movie?
Like, what is it about? Like, I just heard about it. I don't know what it is
Well,
though.
I don't know for sure. It's just it's just a movie about the Slender Man, essentially, and that's all you need to know. Just about the mythos and the character. Like,
Is he not from The
excuse me,
Conjuring? He's from The
from
Conjuring? Is
like
that
the
what the
Conjuring?
Slenderman
No,
is?
no.
I thought he came from Conjuring too.
Slender Man? No, not at all.
No?
No, Slender Man
Oh.
is well, he started off on the Something Awful forums in a contest, and he slowly became a creepypasta character. He was featured in a lot of creepypasta stories from
Oh.
what I've read, and he's become a really iconic horror icon. And that also plays in the fact that he had a video game called Slender released like back in 2012, and that's when like his popularity like really exploded. Like I never played the game myself, but I kind of wish I did. But Slenderman is just a really popular internet character and a very frightening one at that. He's
Huh.
a tall guy in a suit with no face.
Wow.
Like that
Interesting.
doesn't strike it doesn't like make you think of anything. Like everyone's heard of him at this point. Well, almost
Yeah.
everyone. Like the tall guy with the no face. Like that doesn't ring a bell.
I've seen a picture of him. Like I said, like I know what he's talking
Heck,
about.
my icon is actually a Slender Man.
Yeah, it looks just like it, but with but I know what it is. I just don't know. It doesn't make sense, but I know what it is, but I don't know what it is. Like, you know what I mean? Like somebody can tell me like Brokeback Mountain is about two gay cowboys, and I could be like, oh, I know what Brokeback Mountain is, but I don't know like what's the movie about though. Like,
Okay, despite that movie's touchy subject, I honestly think it's a good love story. I do.
yeah, I don't know why. I think it's because I listened to like a Batman,
Yeah.
the Dark and Knight podcast today,
Yeah.
and they were talking about. I think it's funny. Is it funny that like Jake Gyllenhaal's sister played whatever in The Dark Knight, and Heath Ledger was the guy who made out with her brother in Brokeback Mountain?
That's so ironic.
Right. So I guess that's why that movie popped in my head when I said that. But anyways, I guess I'm just saying I know what it is. I just don't know what it's about. So whatever. But
Yeah, it's no
I got to
worries.
wrap this up, buddy,
Yeah.
because I got to go now. But
Hey guys, what do you think of me? Am I cool? Am I cool yet?
I think
Yeah.
you're cool.
Yeah. Thank you. That means a lot.
And
I'm
you go back-
somebody.
you can go back in my videos, and I have I think 2 now featuring you, Lance's creepy reading.
Yeah, one of them is actually some old videos of mine. Like I felt kind of lazy doing this. I just basically just like gave you the audio to some of the videos that I've already had posted because I didn't have time to actually record new ones. Like
Well-
I felt kind of bad about that.
No, that's what I asked for though, because
Well, yeah, I know, but
what I like to do is I like to say, send me some stories you've already done before, because I just want my audience to hear you, and if they enjoy you, then they can go check out other stuff on your channel. But if they don't enjoy you, well, now you didn't waste all this time recording an hour's. You know what I mean? I just want them to get to
yeah.
know what you're about. It's kind of like a preview. If you like
Oh, yeah,
the preview
totally.
on my channel, then you can go check out his channel. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I will say though, man, you grew like really, really fast over the span of a year. Like it's
Yeah.
incredible. Like my first year, I barely reached 100 subscribers. Like I
Yeah.
know because creepypastas aren't as popular as they used to be, but I mean, I still love them. But still, though, like the amount that you've managed to gain, like it's legendary. It's incredible, legendary. It's great. I mean, I applaud you for that, man. You did a great job.
Thanks, man.
I mean, it took me 2 years just to reach 1,000 subscribers, but eventually I did too. So,
Yeah. So congrats to you.
yeah, you just got to keep working on it. And hey,
Yeah.
high hopes that you get 10K soon. I'm really looking forward to that.
Less than 500, man. I'm so excited.
Oh
So,
yeah.
yeah. I'll figure something fun to do out with that. I don't know yet, but I appreciate you coming on, man. It's pretty cool to have you on for the first time, and I hope you want to come on to another episode sometime.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, man. I had a good time.
Yeah, man, no problem. So thanks, guys, everyone who stuck with us for the entire stream. Everyone who didn't, you suck. Just kidding. But Lance, good talking to you, buddy, and everybody have a good night. Bye.
See you guys. Bye.
And subscribe to Lance.
Oh yeah.
Subscribe to him. Okay, see you guys. Bye.
If you dare.
Later, bud.
All right. Good night, guys. Thank you for watching.